Welcome, my friends, to the Egg Film Lab. And today I'll be presenting to you episode 1 of Ask Eggy. Now, I know I told you guys previously that the reason, why it would take so long is because I was fucking around with different intros, I was fucking around with different projects. And those are true. I was, I just was messing around a lot. I wasn't staying focused enough. So, I definitely owe it to you guys after I told you we're going to do the series that we are going to go ahead and do that series. So, we'll go ahead and get started here. So, obviously, the most asked question out of all the comments that I received on that initial video for that is, when is the Black Pill 2 going to be released? Now, I made that video way back, Black Pill video, but also the one that said, Black Pill 2 coming soon. And I had a certain mindset when I had done that video, certain things, a certain direction I was going in. And now I've I have definitely not rescinded my initial position that I made in that video. I think everything in that video still rings true. However, what I do think is I've kind of expanded some of my thoughts on certain things. And when I made that original Black Pill video, it was very emotional. There was no scripting. It just kind of came out. I sat down and I filmed it. No rehearsal, nothing of that sort. Just boom, right into it. And so I wanted to find a way to convey my feelings in a more articulate, more well thought out way that's not going to just have people have that knee-jerk reaction. I want to be, because I'm very, I like to be very well researched. I like to always put out something that's correct and that has time and effort looked into to make sure that that what I'm saying is something that I can support myself, something that's not flimsy, something that's not watered down, whatever the case might be. So what I would say to those people who are still looking for forward to the Black Pill 2, I'm just going to tell you that you really need to just wait out for my book that I'm writing, which is almost complete. We should have it out. Let's see, what is it? It's about the 3rd week of July right now. We should have the book out, I would say, in about the next 4 to 6 weeks is probably what I'm going to say. That'd be finished and, gone through and probably be ready to be published. As far as I'm aware, the publishing is initially going to be in a digital format, and then depending on the success of that digital format, we're going to then move on and potentially do a physical release, a limited run, autograph, whatever, like a little special edition kind of thing. And then, let's see, another question that we had was, why don't I lift weights? Why don't I get jacked? It would help increase my SMV, my attractiveness, my health, of course, as well. So I'll give you a little bit of background on that. Years ago I'm obviously not in the best shape right now, but years ago I was very overweight. I was very overweight, and I went ahead and I wanted to make a change. I was very ignorant of nutrition. I had pretty much no nutrition experience back initially. At that time, I used to eat like a whole family-sized bag of Doritos every day and like 6 cans of Mountain Dew. That's what I eat every single day. I would eat, I didn't have a lot of fast food by where I was growing up. There was a couple like taco shops. I'd go down on Taco Tuesday, buy a bunch of tacos, leave them in the fridge, just heat them up, for over a few days' time. And so once I began learning about nutrition, I went ahead and I got really into it. And actually, because I hadn't been on 4chan for quite some time, and in my own research for how to become healthier, I actually came back to browse Fit. Now, I didn't know at that time, that Fit was basically a all weightlifting board. I remember I went on, I was like looking at into organic foods and all natural foods and like against GMOs and like all this like Alex Jones tier stuff. So I thought, hey, 4chan, maybe they're into that, but it turned out to be all weightlifting. However, when I went back to that, I read the sticky and I learned how to lose weight. There's pictures out there of me at that time. I was probably about 35 to 40 pounds lighter than I am now. And there's pictures of me out there, and I was weightlifting for about 6 to 8 months. Now, I'm very, very physically weak. Like I basically, even now, my physical strength is probably on par of maybe a teenager at, or actually less probably than a teenager. Actually, I can tell you right now, less than a teenager. So when I initially began, it took me probably 3 to 4 months, and I was eating right. I did all my research. I was eating correctly. I was doing everything correctly, but it took me about 3 to 4 months just to be able to lift the bar with no weights on it. When I started, I was doing curls with 5-pound dumbbells, and that was like, it was difficult to me to like lift that much weight. Squats, I probably started with like 20 pounds maybe, total weight. I actually had a special bar that I used that was less weight than a regular bar. It was supposed to be for like elderly people or something, I don't know, but I needed that. That was like the most I could lift. And in any case, once I did get in better shape, I got basically, everybody thought that I was like a woman because I slimmed down, but my appearance was apparently very feminine, and people were mistaking me for a woman then. I guess, I don't know if being fat helps with that at all to make me look more masculine. Probably not, I don't know. But basically, I put in, and when I went to college, for the time I did, it was to be researching dietetics, because when I had, gotten into all this stuff, I was like, oh, I never wanted to go to college. I barely even graduated high school. Never wanted to go to college, so I was like, oh shit, hey, dietetics, that's a thing. I looked at nutrition and like sports education stuff at first, but I was, okay, dietetics, hey, I'm really big into like nutrition type stuff, but this is like nutrition, but like also a career. It's like applied nutrition, maybe you could say. So I thought to myself, hey, this is really good. We're gonna go ahead and check that out. So that's the little bit of college I did do was for that, but as things went on, I kind of, out of my own laziness, I wasn't keeping up my routine as much as I had. Although I kept at it for like 6 to 8 months, which is, for me, is like pretty on top of it, because I'm usually not that much on top of it. But I just kind of fell in love with it. It was like the fat acceptance was really starting to pump up around that time, like late 2012, early 2013, all the Tumblr stuff. So I was like, the dietitian scum and all that shit. I was like, I didn't even really want to help people anymore. I was like, these people do not deserve to be helped anymore, basically. So that was kind of why I didn't, why I kind of stopped with doing that. And then another question we had was, when did I kind of get my start with the music? What was something that interested me with music to kind of get into the music that I do? Well, actually, when I had first come out of high school, I had a little bit of money, which I then, my parents were on me all the time, like, you're not going to college, you don't have a job, what are you going to do with your life? You need to do something, you're going to be a disappointment, you got to do something with your life. So I went ahead and I invested some saved money that I had from like my high school graduation, and a couple, I had some Christmas, birthday money, whatever, saved away as well, whatever. So I had money saved up, and I went ahead and I invested in kind of a little bit of like a home production studio. I had an MPC, I had a keyboard, I had studio monitors, and I wanted to be like a producer. I didn't see myself as like rapper qualified, just because I wasn't very good. At that time, I didn't really put a lot of effort into like trying to learn how to rap, because I want to be a producer. I thought, okay, that's where it's at. I can sell beats to like all these wannabe rappers and get my money that way. Little did I know just how competitive even the production market was. As you might be aware, if you look on YouTube, there's like a million different channels, just as many channels that are making beats probably as there are rappers. So a lot of beat makers. So I did some studying. I didn't want to go to college. I was like, fuck it, I got my own studio here already. So I ordered a bunch of like used textbooks that all had to do with mixing, mastering, music theory, audio engineering. I really tried to do it myself, and I made some pretty good stuff. I definitely did at that time. Like, for what I did, I was linking up. I was doing Twitter. Well, actually, no, Twitter. I don't know if that was even out. I think it was 2010. I don't think it was as big. In any case, I was definitely hitting up Facebook a lot. Shilling myself a lot on Facebook. My beats, like 2 for $10 or whatever. And nobody was really interested. I was like, holy shit, this sucks. Because I don't think I even had a job at that point. I don't think I had my first job yet, if I recall. Maybe I did, or it was just starting. But it was like, I was like, wow, this sucks. This is like terrible. So I said, fuck it. I basically just kind of gave up on it. Although I did have some knowledge of audio engineering at that point, but it was obviously not going to be lucrative like I was looking for. It wasn't going to be a career. So I kind of just dropped it at that point. But I kept messing with it a little bit as time went on. I wanted to learn a little bit about broadcasting. So I learned a little bit about, how that was all set up. And, just recently, I kind of dove back into it over the last couple years. I'm still far from professional, as you know, on that, but I have a better grasp of things, I think, than I did previously, or at least I remembered some of the stuff that I used to know that I forgot. So that helped. Crack the door open because it was getting hot in here. Needed some fresh air. So Next question, I know there was one, how did me really become a meme? Well, the way that it worked out was, initially, I've been browsing the board since about 2000, well, I guess even since it originally was created back in 2008, I had browsed that somewhat, but I also had browsed probably more frequently starting in about 2012 when I was in college. Actually, well, I guess maybe it would have been when I moved out, because I moved out in 2012 to my parents' basement. And so I was out, and I really enjoyed the green tech stories a lot. So I started browsing R9K a lot for that, CK, Poll I began browsing once it came back. I was browsing that. That was really how I got into browsing R9K a lot. And I had posted some photos of myself previously, and people always called me like fat lesbian, looked like I had Down syndrome. And then, but once I was really, I guess it would have been the summer of 2014, I had met somebody in real life from the board, because I had gotten banned from a game I was playing a lot of, so all of a sudden I was free time, and I didn't know what to do with myself, so I met somebody actually off the board that was in my area, and it was a terrible experience. So I came back to complain about it, and I was really, didn't have anything better to do, so I sat around and just liked to shit post pretty much all day, every day, and then I started posting. I was really out of shape, so I started working out then. And that summer I was going out and jogging a lot, so I started posting pictures of myself. Like every single day I'd post a new picture of myself, because, kind of as a way to keep track of my, progress, and then also as kind of a way to, just, rile up posts, get some, attention whoring, whatever you want to say. So, as people went on, people kind of, anytime I post a picture of my face, you get 10 replies, and I was like, I thought it was so funny, because everybody would be like, oh my god, my eyes, you freak. And so I started posting, with a name. I didn't use a trip code, but I used a name that was David Cameron Jr. And so I kept posting, and then, I can't remember, I said basically, I'm never posting again, I hate my life, I'm just gonna kill myself or whatever. And people freaked out, and I was gone for a week. Those of you who are familiar with my history, with my roller coaster emotions, are pretty familiar with that. I've probably done that 30 times now or whatever, because I'm so crazy, my emotions are so crazy, bipolar and everything. But then about 2 weeks later I came back, and then picked up the trip code, and that was it after that. Just kept going with it. And then I can't remember, I went 6 months without posting, and I don't really post anymore with my trip code, very, very sparingly, maybe once every few weeks at best. But so that was how the name came about, was I had gotten that name from people replying to me, and I used the name Eggman in my trip code after that. But as far as me being a meme, there was one guy, or then became a couple guys, who would just spam my pictures that I posted, a couple in particular that you're probably familiar with. One with me holding my phone like this, and then obviously the one with the orange atmosphere that's been really popular. So a couple guys, one was a Hispanic man that I knew from LA, who I'd been talking to on Steam for a couple years up to that point. I didn't know he was spamming them at that time, but it turned out, ended up that he was one of the people that was spamming it. And then there was another guy who also was spamming pictures and started threads about me and stuff. And then I started making videos. I was streaming actually even back in fall of 2014 a couple times, for those who do recall, if you've been around. And that kind of got me some buzz, and it kind of just blew up. I was making videos. I probably had 100 subscribers or whatever. And then I guess probably the biggest one that blew up quick, was the black pill video. People started spamming that everywhere. And then, then the shooting hoax. If I had never deleted my channel, which I did in a fit of autistic rage, I deleted my original channel back in, I guess that would have been last fall. And, when I probably have 10,000 subscribers right now if I hadn't done that, but, I was not in my right mind, and I deleted it, and then, the re-uploads came, and got all the attention. I got framed for the shooting, blah, 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 and it kind of just propelled me further, I guess. I wasn't sure if it was a good thing or not. I don't know. I'm good where I'm at right now, though. Hopefully we'll continue chasing success and growing as people. I'm going to be 25 years old. I got to kind of grow up a little bit, you know what I mean? So I'm going to keep on working on that. All right, then we'll do one more for right now until I get things kind of sorted out, an intro and a better, more cleaned up production. But last one I'll answer right now is, when did I realize that things were kind of on the decline? Probably would be, when I was in high school, I was actually an avowed communist. I had, if you dig up my senior pictures, are floating around somewhere, I had communist pins on my shirt. I wore them every single day because my teachers, like always, I was not a good student. My teachers were always at odds with me about my work, but they were all, you know, teachers, and they were very, very, you know, we would like watch like the Daily Show with Jon Stewart like in class, and that was like a class. That was like that would be like what we would do in class, you know what I mean? So when they see me wearing this like communist regalia, they were like, "Oh, we're glad you're finally starting to learn something good." We're playing. It was giving me like praise from my teachers, and it was also getting. I was like trolling like the hardcore right-wing people. You know, I wasn't even very political at that time, but you know, I just liked kind of, you know, people were like getting angry at me, and it made me laugh because like I was always a loner and I didn't like people. So when I felt like people were like angry about what I was doing, it made me like, I don't know, give me some kind of joy to kind of like be like spitting in their faces in like a metaphorical sense. So anyways, I was very leftist. And I came out of high school, you know, and once I got my first job, things kind of started to change up a little bit. You know, I was like, all the idealisticness, you know, the college students were all out in college and like getting her like pumped up with even more craziness. But I was kind of starting to see like the world for what it was. I was like, oh crap, this sucks. But then it all really came to a head at the Occupy Wall Street, because there was an Occupy Wall Street, you know, how that all went down. And I was really behind it. I was watching like a lot of Alex Jones, and I was like, oh yeah, this is what's up, man. We're gonna fight the powers that be. We're gonna, you know, it's the revolution, man. We're gonna, you know. And so I went. There was one in Minneapolis. There was a protest or whatever was going on. So I went up there, and I was like, oh, I was so ready to be like, yeah, man, we're getting robbed. You know, we're 99%. You know, we need to fight for our rights or whatever. And I get up there, and it's all like hipsters with purple hair and like nose rings talking about how all the white male privilege needs to end and stuff like that. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, dude, I'm trying to just, you know, we're all like poor, except like everybody there was actually richer than I was. And I was like, I'm really like poor, and I want to fight for, you know, better rights for myself or whatever. And everyone was like, no, nobody cares about that. We need to fight the patriarchy. And I was like, this was all totally new to me. Like I had never seen or heard anything like this. It was crazy. So I came back and I was like, what the fuck? And, you know, I'm looking online. I'm like going on like the Alex Jones YouTube page. I'm like, what's going on, man? This is crazy. People are like, oh yeah, it's the progressive stack. And I looked into that. And like that's really where it all started to unfold for me. My opinions kind of began to change. I was like, I always thought I was unbiased, which is like totally untrue, because you never really got both sides of the story, especially in a public school, especially with media and everything. So that's when I kind of started to do more research, kind of started to truly educate myself and kind of see things for what they were, and it all just kind of went out from there. But this video is not a very good quality, but I'm still working on improving on it. I did like 3 projects today. I don't know, man. It's been crazy right now, but I wanted to just get some of this out there for you guys to watch. I know you guys are getting impatient and getting mad at me because I'm not getting it done. So I apologize that this video kind of sucks too, but just want to get some answers out there for you guys. But we're going to keep on going through. I got all the questions. We're going to keep going through more. I just don't want to keep you guys too long. So later, dudes.